What's up, guys? How you doing? Welcome to the show. Welcome to Monday night. I apologize for being late. Unfortunately, I had to get some stuff done. It took longer than I thought. I have a tendency to be a little slow with getting things done in time, and this was no exception. But here we are, officially live on Monday night. Glad to be here. Glad to be with you guys. And stuff to talk about, stuff to hang out with you guys and chat about. Let's do some quick shout-outs. Sad SQ, hey guys, Cole Stories, Lauren's in here. I saw Kelly W in here. Glad to see you guys are hanging out, showed up for the Monday night stream, the goal-setting stream, the positivity stream, the we got each other's back stream, whatever we want to call it. It is, holy smokes, there's an enormous 2 donations to start the show before the show even starts. This is insane. This is crazy. I'm going to wait to read these out because the show just started. Kelly W., this is wild. I can't wait to read this out. There's a really generous donation here from Kelly, and I want to wait for some people who are here because this is a really, really, really special, generous donation. And as you guys all know, donations on Nerds and Suits on the live show, specifically the live show and any ad revenue I get, all goes directly towards me getting my dream guitar, the Gibson Hummingbird, that I always try to put on the screen and 100% of the time put on the wrong color because I have 2 images stored here and one of them's wrong. Will I do the right one this time? That looks like the right one. That is the correct color guitar. The Gibson Hummingbird, gorgeous, legendary guitar that I eventually will be getting, that you guys are the ones who are getting for me. And we are now well into 25% territory on this guitar, or close to it anyway. We're almost at 25% of the way there. So unbelievable generosity from you guys. I am so grateful, so thankful to have that kind of support. And yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. So that is the guitar there. Let's get it off the screen. But yeah, it's Monday night, and I did like a bachelor party weekend. Kelly W., I need to jump soon, but just wanted to say I want that receipt, Ben. That is in reference to the interview that I did with Kate Mulligan this last Friday, in which I of course explained the story about my legal last name versus my given last name. My taken last name versus my given last name. And you guys can go hear that story in the interview with Kate Mulligan if you want. But the bottom line is I was not born Ben Bateman. And I think you get a PayPal receipt. I think you do. My understanding is you get a PayPal receipt with my legal last name on it if you donate. So I'm going to jump in here with these donations and shout them out because Kelly's got to jump soon. So Kelly W., hi Ben, can't make tonight's stream but wanted to donate to the Hummingbird Fund. And as someone whose legal name is different than her professional name, I'm just too curious. It's a $200 Streamlabs donation, which is unbelievable and so generous and such a wonderful way to start this stream. I'm going to get the guitar, and the day I have it, I cannot fucking wait to play on stream for you guys, which I'm going to be doing more of, by the way, soon. I've decided YouTube here. I was going to be doing more Twitch music, was kind of like a goal of mine in the first place, but I think I just want to noodle around on Nerds and Suits. I might start doing an hour long or even like a shorter than that music stream during the week, or I might just make this stream a little bit more music oriented as we go forward. I'm not totally sure, but just an unbelievably crazy generous donation from Kelly, and I'm so thankful for that. So Kelly, thank you for that. Billy Belford is asking, what is he watching? This is the Monday night. This is the Monday night stream, man. This is where we talk about goal setting and positivity and awesome shit. I am going to be talking about Tenet because I actually saw it last night. I drove to a movie theater. I strapped on an N95. I sat down and I watched Christopher Nolan's new film. Irvine, it's open. I drove an hour last night for the 10 p.m. screening. There was about 13 people in an IMAX theater. It was huge, like a giant. It felt safer than being in a fucking grocery store, to be honest with you guys. It was wild. The N95 was uncomfortable to watch the movie with, but I will talk about it a little later. I won't do a spoiler review, but it was very, very interesting. Also, while we're doing this, just like last time, I'm gonna keep cutting these Magic Card proxies because I do a stream on every single Monday right after this at 7:30. I do the Magic Card stream on the Masters of Modern channel where we, do our whole thing. So, and we play live games of Commander, which I'll be doing right after this. So I'm excited about that. But Chris Michael Woodburn says he was underwhelmed by Tenet, even though Nolan is his guy. It was an interesting movie, man. I'll be excited to talk a little bit about it more, and also I'll be excited to see it a second time because I think I share the sentiment that many people have, which is that it was kind of a hard movie to follow on a first watch, which is never the best thing. I don't really like the idea that a movie should be watched more than once to grasp it. Like, it's wonderful if you watch a movie more than one time. Sometimes I do. I have movies that I love watching. But I think the idea that a movie has to be fully appreciated by watching it more than one time is kind of an absurd notion. Because, like, there's so many movies out there. Why are you going to make a piece of art that needs to be, reviewed more than once to enjoy? Like, I want to enjoy lots of pieces of art. So, I don't know. But in any case, I will be talking about that a little later. The other thing I wanted to talk about tonight on the stream was, I kind of wanted to get into this idea. We've been talking about goal setting, and I'm going to get to the goal setting here in a little bit tonight. But one of the main things I really wanted to talk about tonight was I wanted to talk about finishing the year strong. And rather than 30-day goal setting, which is like a lot of what we've been doing on the channel here, I really want to talk about sort of our dreams for 2021. Because I think 2020, by and large, for a lot of us, it's kind of a lost year. I don't think that the year is going to be, going to go down as all bad. I think like any year of anyone's life, we'll all remember at least one positive thing that happened during this year. Some people get married, some people have children, some people get promotions at work, the incredible stuff happened to people in 2020. It's not going to be a purely bad year, but it's been a pretty forgettable year for a lot of reasons, and a memorable year for horrible reasons in a lot of other cases. What's up, Dean Morgan? How you doing? What's up, PC? How you doing in here? So one of the things that I kind of wanted to focus on tonight was this idea that, we can finish 2020 together strong, right? We can put plans together and we can keep each other accountable on the endurance to finish this year like rock stars. But ultimately, let's set up for a really great 2021. You know what I mean? I want to work with you guys. And I want to make sure that we all hit the ground running going into next year so that we can have an awesome year, so that we can come out of it feeling inspired, so we can come out of it feeling happy. That's what I want. And I want to talk about that a little bit more later tonight. So I will. But I'm going to... Lauren says, I really need a great 2021. I feel you, Lauren. I'm going to level with you guys. The last month, and specifically the last 2 weeks, have been some of the most depressing of my entire life. I'm experiencing a kind of depression the last couple weeks, and I would say closer to a month, that is unlike anything I've ever experienced. When people talk about depression, I now feel like I understand what they mean. It's crippling. It's like a can't get off the couch, get a phone call, you're on the phone kind of talking, and it's almost like you're just nodding. You're just waiting for the conversation to be over so you can get off. And then once it's over and you're away from that stressful thing, because interacting with people and you feel that way is really hard, you just don't know what to do. So you're just sitting. It's like you're sitting in just this whatever pool of self-pity, whatever the fuck it even is. I don't even know really how I would describe it, but it's awful. It's a horrible, horrible feeling. And so today, I woke up today and I had, for some reason, just a little bit more pep in my step. Not a great deal more, but today was a little better. It just felt lighter. It was like I was able to get some things done, and I was able to work through the day without that kind of heavy distraction. And, a lot of you guys probably have noticed, over the last few months especially, that, the momentum and I think the excitement that I had for Nerds and Suits has probably seemed like it's slowed down a little bit. There have been things in there that have been cool, some great interviews, but I haven't gotten back to doing Song from the Scene, and I've been doing less content. I've skipped some weeks, right? And I think it's very, very hard to be motivated when you feel that way. That's what I've been realizing. It didn't really hit me just how depressed I was, truly how depressed I was, I would say, until probably about this last 2 weeks. And then it started to click. Now, obviously, losing to Dan in the middle of all that was really rough. I think, it sucked. I have to tell you guys, I did not feel good. It did not make me feel great about any of what I felt was important or things I had put time and energy into. It just generally all around sucked. And that's a little stupid considering what some people go through and what they experience and actually what hardship is for people. Because mine losing a Schmodown match to Dan is not the same thing. I can control that. I put myself in that situation by competing against Dan, and if I don't, then I can't lose. But either way, it did not feel great, and I think it exacerbated probably a feeling that I already had of real sadness, real depression. But all that being said, it has been rough, and today I felt a little bit more motivated to do some things. And so what I wanted to do was be honest with you guys and level with you. Looks like I have a lot of people here in the chat who can relate to this. So my guy, Billy Belford, call sign MacGruber in the Action Army, as someone who has dealt with depression for 20 years, I feel for you, my dude, he says. And Billy, I know you've talked to me about this a little bit before. And I have to tell you, man, like I've been depressed in my life, but not the kind of extended depression this one is. And so, yeah, I definitely, you've explained that to me before, and I feel you completely. K Wolf here, I definitely have been going through that. Eric Lane, welcome to the Depression Club. K Wolf, I feel like a robot going through the motions. Stat SQ felt like that for the last 4 years, honestly. Yeah, so it seems like a lot of people in here kind of get it, and it's a wild thing. It's a wild thing to. I feel like I have a good life. I don't think I have the greatest life on earth. I'm not rich. I'm not really famous. I don't really, but I like my life. I think I do okay. I like the people that are in my life, the things that I'm involved in, that I'm passionate about. I do pretty well at them. So, it's kind of wild to have that and then still feel this way, because you try to pinpoint why it is you feel that way. And I think it's a really confusing range of emotion to have, because I know that there are people who have much harder lives than mine who probably are happier. Or if they are depressed, there are people that have harder lives than mine that are able to just weather the storm a little bit easier than I do. So all that being said, it's been a rough few weeks, and today I feel a little better. So I wanted to come and talk to you guys and share with you, I think that the 30-day goal-setting challenge that we set, the endurance challenge, which several of you, Brandy Parker, call sign # Ladies Night, John Lestrina, several of you, Charlotte Gherkin, got your seats guaranteed on the endurance. You guys actually did that. You did that by sticking to your 4 goals 30 days at a time, doing them sequentially, just like we talked about. And it's just awesome. It's awesome that you guys did that, because I challenged you to something that I didn't stick with, but you did. You guys actually did the thing. So I am continuing to stick with my drinking goal, which, taking time off right now. So we're 3 weeks into that one, which is pretty cool. Definitely with the depression that I've been feeling, which is another one of the reasons that I think I decided I wanted to take a little bit of a break, a little bit of a breather from the booze. Cause it definitely adds up. If you drink, a few days in a row, or, a handful of days out of a week, you can definitely start to feel that, very much in your brain, and your heart feels very heavy. And so I decided to take that break. And so it's good, I think, 3 weeks later, that I'm not doing that, because I think if I was, I think this depression would be even harder. But what I will tell you guys is I am going to recommit to my 30-day goals today. I am now recognizing how difficult of a challenge it is. And so it actually makes me want to adjust the type of goal setting that I'm doing for myself. And so today, because I gave up on this goal after 30 days, after I had tried it, and it didn't work, I'm going to go back to no delivery. I'm going to do no delivery food for 30 days again. That will be goal number 1. And I'm going to do 4 of them in a row, just like I was going to do in the first place. And I encourage any and all of you guys to get on board with me. I sent a message to all of you guys that are part of the Nerd Network that were doing this challenge with me today, to let you know, because I know I definitely, after doing 2 of them, I started to feel that kind of that complacency, right? After about 5 weeks, I started to feel that kind of lethargy, where it was just like, man, this is not as rewarding as I wanted it to be. I wanted to feel excited every day about, checking something off. And I started to realize, like anything, once it's not fresh or new, it's hard to feel as excited about it. So I now recognize the challenge, and that's okay. Things are challenging. There's a lot of things that I want to do, and I'm going to do the 4 30-day goals. And the reason is because I want 2021 to be an incredible year. So I want to start 2021 feeling like I have set some things in motion, and I've teed those up, and I've hit some home runs. I really, really want to do that. Nikki Therese here in the chat, she says, you mentioned a few weeks ago that as you've gotten older, the highs feel really high and the lows lower. That resonates with me so hard, and it's a roller coaster. It is really true. The bright moments are like, yeah, and I think also another thing, guys, about getting older and sort of beginning to feel really in touch with what's really happening in here, in your heart, is that I'm not somebody. So I didn't cry for 10 years. From the time I was like 12 till I was like 22, 23, right in that range, or maybe 20. But, it was like 10 years I didn't cry. And my parents got divorced when I was like, 10-ish. So that's probably, if you wanted to like trace it back, like childhood trauma or whatever, maybe that's where it came from. But I'm just not the most outwardly emotional person. I experience happiness, and I definitely communicate that, and excitement. Those are all feelings. Anxiety, I can definitely grab a hold of what those ones are. But the ones that are like that real like vulnerability, emotional openness, true sadness, contentment, those are feelings that I'm much, much, much less familiar with. And so anytime that I feel like organically struck by that feeling of wanting to cry nowadays, it feels so unique. And I kind of embrace it because it feels like there's this like, the clouds have parted for a moment to just like see the actual truth of what's happening. Like you're connecting to a feeling in your brain or your heart that you can't naturally access. I can't make myself cry. And interestingly enough, this last week, trying to play through some music, it was probably middle of the week. 2 days in a row, I sat down to play some music, trying to get through some of the songs I've been writing. And both times, full on tears, full on breaking into tears, trying to sing these songs, which was an amazing feeling because it was like, this is the conduit that's connecting me to what's happening. This like deep, 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 heavy sadness that I'm feeling in here somewhere that I only can feel is happening, but I can't clear it out or express it. And so that was really interesting. And I don't think that's the kind of thing that I could have experienced in the same way when I was younger. I sort of feel like that emotional availability only starts to happen as you get older, is my guess. But either way, it's been certainly an interesting week. So I'm going to be setting the 30-day goals. And to anyone who's watching this live or who's watching later, the way this goal setting challenge works, and because I had Emmanuel Steinberg sign up, so big straight into the tie to you, Emmanuel, for signing up at the platinum level here, so certified platinum nerd in the Nerd Network, because he wanted to get on board with the goal setting. Because truthfully, honestly, if you guys are doing it, you can attest, I do send you a message every Monday afternoon, a personal message. It's not a copy and paste. It's an actual, hey, how you doing, Nikki? Or Jake, what's up, man? How you feeling? Or Party J, how the goal's going? Because I know how much that means. I know that's important. I absolutely know that it means something to people. And I don't have 400 people I'm tracking. I have a relatively small number. And so I do that for people. And if anybody who does want to sign up, I will continue to do that for you because it matters to me. And so if you're somebody who's considering it and you haven't yet, I would recommend it. Go to patreon.com/nerdsandssuits. We have a metaphorical starship called the NIS Endurance. You gain yourself a seat on that ship as it takes off into the stratosphere by completing 4 of the 30-day goal challenges. So, Emmanuel, if you're listening to this, that's the plan. Set something localized. That's something that you know you can accomplish for 30 days. Start it today, start it tomorrow. It could be getting it up at a certain time. It could be making your bed. It could be washing the dishes before you eat your meal. It could be stretching, drinking more water, whatever you want it to be. There are a ton of different things that bring meaning to our lives, and there are a ton of small goals that if you set for yourself can absolutely change your reality. They're little things. They can make you feel more organized. It could be calling a member of your family every day. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is you want to do, if you are a patron in the Nerd Network at any level, literally any level. That is the entry level for the Nerd Network is the gold level. It's $5 a month. But for this, because I feel that it matters, I allow you to sign up at $1. It doesn't have a title, but you are still a patron of the Nerd Network, and I will still check on you. So if that's what you want to do, please do. I recommend it. I try to offer awesome perks to everybody at every level, and it's something that I feel very passionate about. So that is what we're doing for the goal setting. I'm going back to the no delivery food for the next 30 days. I want to reset that one. I found it to be very helpful. I thought it was great. It encouraged me to cook more and eat a little cleaner. So I'm doing that as my next goal. As far as other stuff that we have going on, I am going to continue to kind of formulate ideas for how we can really target 2021 and think about how to do this together. So I can encourage you guys to kind of plant your feet as we finish out this year and make sure that we hit the ground running for a kick-ass next year. I'm going to cut some more proxies here. And other stuff, I think I just saw there was another Streamlabs that came in, so I want to read that one. Belford says, one of the weirdest things that can manifest in depression is crying at odd things but feeling nothing when a non-depressed would cry. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Right. It's like a weird imbalance of your feelings. That makes sense. Hey, what's up, Tyler? I didn't see you in there. How you doing, man? So, all right, our next one here is from John Lestrina. Call sign hashtag ladies night. Whenever you get your hummingbird, I'm going to smash it over your head to knock some sense into you for that round 5 scoring. Obviously, I would never do that, just helping you to get you closer. Hashtag people's champion. Lestrina, in the general debate this last week, competed. Billy Belford was a captain in the general debate this last week, doing very well. Lestrina had a phenomenal round. I mean, really crushed it. He came in fighting for The Wrestler, the greatest sports movie of all time, and really did a good job. Unfortunately, he went up against a really great opponent in call sign Deja Vu, our man AJ Lancaster, and it was close, and it was heated, and it was spirited at the end, but Lestrina lost in the final round, the 5th round, which is always the sudden death round. It was close, but he did a great job. You should hold your head high, John. Next up, we got Belford here, my man, in the chat right now. Here's some money for your stupid guitar. Music is for nerds. Thank you so much. It's a $40 donation there from Billy Belford. So big salute to you, my friend. 5-star general in the Action Army. Big time tie straight in here. Member of the Nerd Network. And PC, loved your interview with Kate. Sent in a Schmobot to promote it. Would you consider joining the Den, asks PC. So thank you so much for that donation. Wow, really generous night tonight from you guys on these Streamlabs and Super Chats. This is really awesome. The guitar is not so far away. I would consider joining the Den. I would say I would consider joining most factions at this point. It's not going to be a conversation, though, I really start having with anybody or really taking seriously until after the team's tournament. Because the thing is, I fell into a faction with incredible players, with really talented players, and really driven players. And we were the de facto favorite to go in and win everything this year. And of course, the road has been harder than people expected, because there's a lot of great players in this league. And, we're still fighting. We still have people in the tournament. We still have people in both tournaments, because obviously teams hasn't started yet. And so there is a real possibility that the FinStock Exchange can win the whole thing this year. But for me, it feels like I don't really want to start having those conversations with managers about next year. I have to figure out 2 things. The first one is, what level am I going to give to the Schmodown next year? What kind of commitment, what sort of drive am I going to commit to it to come in and try to kick everyone's ass? Because this year, funnily enough, after only playing a few matches, really kicked the snot out of me. It was it was an exhausting year. I played in 2 teams matches, and I played in 4 singles matches. Is that right? 4 singles matches? No, 3 singles matches, 2 teams. I played 5 times this year. 5 times. My record this year was 2-3. And obviously, one of them was I set the team points record. One of them was the worst worst game I've ever played. One of them was the first perfect game in Schmodown history and a knockout. 2 of them were title matches, and both were, almost retain the title or win the title back. 1 question away. Played well, didn't quite get it done. They just all of the matches took a lot out of me. And in singles, since last year, my last 4, I'm 2-2. 3 of them are title matches. So, and I was within a question of winning all of them. So it was just a lot. This year definitely kicked my ass. Losing really sucked. And I know what it was required to do that. And I have to really be honest with myself about what I'm willing to do this next year to try to get back to that level, because I don't want to go in half-assed and not give a faction or a manager or a teammate what they deserve. So we'll see. That's the first answer to the question about the Den. The second answer is I will start talking to managers when, managers start talking to me and making me the number 1 priority of their faction. Because I don't really want to come in and be like a supplemental piece to like an already great team, like a third. Like I don't think that that's what I want to do this year. It was, I got to have a teammate and felt like I had a carved out place on my faction this year because Riley and I were retained as champions. Well, I was the champion. He was my teammate, so we got to retain him. So I kind of felt like I got to have my own half of the top piece of the exchange. But if you were talking about, somebody like Shazam or somebody like Corruption, who will almost surely be keeping a team sorry, not Shazam, the Mercs or Corruption, who will almost surely be keeping a team. I don't want to slot into a strong faction that has a top team where I'm the third piece. I'm not interested in that. So, it's an interesting conversation to have, and one that I'll start taking a little more seriously as we get closer. I am doing some reading right now, and I am seriously considering some pretty cool things to approach the game this next year. I think I have a pretty unique approach. I'm not totally sure if I think it's something that is sustainable. It's a pretty ambitious approach, but I am fascinated by it. So I'm doing some reading right now, and I think I have a pretty cool idea for next year. I will be in the Schmoedown next year. I can tell you that. I will be playing in matches. And I introduced the idea last week. I will be coming up with a Schmoedown component of this channel. That'll be to do with my studying, and it will be a group similar to what Mark Riley does, and I know some other Schmoedown competitors do. But those of you that like to help scrimmage, those of you that like to write questions, those of you that are interested in statistics, that want to be a part of that process, that formation process, I'll be inviting members of the Nerd Network to do that with me, because it's funny, like we do Schmoedown content on Action Industries, but it's retrospective mostly. Or if it's not retrospective, it'll be a conversation talking about a match that already happened. But we don't really scheme for matches that are ahead of us together because we're not on a team. And there's a weird sort of competitiveness where it's like, it's not even a competitiveness. It's like we can't walk that path, because the further down that path you get, there's a moment where you hit a wall, and it's like, we're going to have to eventually just play. You're just giving all your secrets to someone. Like, if we had done that earlier in the year, that would have been a disaster. So I think this will be a good opportunity to be able to speak a little more honestly about exactly what I'm doing for preparation. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I speak honestly with Drew. I just don't speak honestly with Drew when we're on camera together about it, right? That's not public. That shouldn't be public show stuff. So I will be able to do that a little bit more like honestly and clearly with you guys here, because it will be exclusive and behind a paywall, and just for people that want to be a part of that journey as I'm doing it. So Belford here, 2021, Ben Bateman hires a sports psychologist to get back on top. I don't feel psychologically broken, Belford. I don't think I really need a sports psychologist. I felt pretty locked in that match against Dan. Like, there was a lot about that match that I think played out the way that I expected it would. And I think you'll just miss questions sometimes. I think it just happens. And Drew and I this week are doing an Action Rewind. We're doing it on Wednesday. It's at 5 p.m. And it's a special one. We're going to be talking about Bateman Merle 2. We're going to be doing it just like we used to always do the behind-the-scenes match reactions for our own matches in the secret headquarters. And I will be talking a little bit more honestly and openly with you guys about the preparation and the strategy and some of the real stuff that went on in the match, in a way that I don't really want to do on a public show. There's a line I like to draw there. So if you are interested in that sort of thing, become a patron today over at patreon.com/teamaction. We're doing that coming up on Wednesday, and that should be a very interesting one. But I'll be doing some of that content here on this channel, which I'm excited to share with you guys. And I know several of you have already expressed interest in being a part of that and getting to do some of that with me. So that should be a lot of fun for us. Other stuff that's going on. I interviewed Kate Mulligan this last week. It was actually a couple weeks ago, and that posted on Friday, and the comments were great. You guys were awesome. I'm not sure who the guest is this week, because I've got feelers out to a handful of people trying to get scheduling locked down. I know my friend Christina was saying that she was maybe interested, but I don't know if we can confirm that one for this week. My friend Diana Hopper, who's an actress who's on, I don't know if any of you guys have watched that show Goliath on Amazon Prime, the Billy Bob Thornton lawyer show, but she's on that show, and so she's going to come on and she's going to do an interview, but I think she's not going to be doing that till October. So there's a few other people. That was one question I had for you guys actually, was are there any guests that you guys really want to see on Nerds in Suits? I'm sure there are huge guests like Tom Cruise and whatnot, and people that eventually, hopefully, we get big enough and we get to. But are there any guests that you guys want to see that are in the space? People that you're a fan of that I could just directly reach out to, or that I just haven't brought on yet that you would be fascinated. I like to try to alternate on the channel as best I can. Maybe like a Schmoedown person, then a non-Schmoedown person, to keep it interesting and keep it evolving, because I don't like to just play in that Schmoedown sandbox all the time. I think there's a lot of content being made there, and I like to change it up a little bit. Our next one here is from Eric Lane. $5 super Streamlabs here, which I appreciate. COVID all of July, and unemployment since second week of August have sparked the depression. Had a good visit with my sister's family in Carlsbad this month. Had a good interview today. Trying to turn the corner on misery. Making music for my YouTube is the next goal. Eric, that's awesome. I highly recommend it. Music has been very therapeutic for me, so I'm all about that, man. I think if you lock into something and you find that inspiration, it's a really rewarding, really wonderful feeling. So if that's something that you're interested in, I think you should do it. And I'm glad, we will turn the corner on 2020, and we'll have depression past 2020. We'll have it when the world goes back to feeling normal again. It's just part of life. Depression is common. It's extremely common. And what you have to remember, and what I'm trying to remember and tell myself about my own depression, is that, you know what, like, it will pass. There will be days. Today felt better. It just felt better. I woke up and I felt better. And so it wasn't because something crazy special happened. I would argue, even in fact, over the weekend, some of the shit that I went through was kind of shitty. But it didn't matter. Today just felt like I could move my legs again. I could actually get shit done. So remember that the days do come and go. Good things happen. Good things, you'll be reminded of something that makes you happy. It's just that, the depression comes back. And when it does come back, you have to accept, just keep your baseline intact. That's what I'm trying to do. My mom called me yesterday. Was like, hey, you should come to Seattle. That's something you should do. And I was like, the thing is, I feel like so many of the things in my life that are important, I'm kind of letting slip. I've really been struggling to be exercising and to, be keeping up to date with all the work projects that I'm involved in, 'cause I'm involved in a lot. And I was like, and honestly, if my health or my finances really fall apart, that's my baseline. Then shit gets really stressful, right? That's like a different kind of stress. If your finances or your health fall apart, I've been there with both. I know what kind of psychological effect that has. And so I said to her, I was like, as much as I would love to come and just be in Seattle for a few weeks and spend some time with my family and work from the road, I don't know if abandoning my home when it's already feels like my fingers are slipping is a good plan. I feel like I really want to try to focus on getting my shit together here at home, so that maybe in a month or two, if I feel like I've kind of gotten back on track a little bit, then maybe I can go and spend some family time. But I don't want to try to do that when I don't feel like I've got it together. Some of the answers in here we got are let's see here. Let's see. Cody Hall says Belford. Yeah, that's a good one. Jay, Kate Part 2, Wangers, Greg Miller, RB3, Winston, Jen Sturger, Coy, Grace, Sabrina, Napzok, Nick Scarpino, Makuga, Dorina. Yeah, it's a lot of interesting people. That's almost every one of those people is somebody who's in the space. Greg Miller's not, obviously, so that'd be, and Scarpino, those would be kind of interesting people to reach out to, because I don't really know much about them. But yeah, some of those people are people I've considered bringing on anyway. They're people that are my friends who I like talking to. So I think that could be really, really interesting. By the way, guys, if you're watching the video right now and you haven't already hit the thumbs up button, please do. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do. I want to say we're 10 subscribers away from hitting, what's it called, 2,000. I think we're 10 or 12. We're gonna hit 2,000 tomorrow or something like that. So that's exciting. It's been a slow burn. We got to 1,000 so fast. The second 1,000 was a little slower, but hopefully, as I start to put more content out on this channel and I actually get back to a regular schedule again of playing music on here and of hopefully doing the comic book show with Coy. Hopefully it grows a little faster, because, I definitely was really excited when I launched this channel, and I definitely still have big ideas for it. It's just that being creative when you're depressed fucking sucks. It sucks. Joelle Monique, Kevin Smith. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Trisha Hirschberger, says Eric Lane. Yeah, all good people. All good people. A lot of people I like. So yeah, maybe I'll reach out to some of those folks. Maybe some of the ladies who are not Schmodown related, but they're kind of digital space related. Trisha or Maud or, Alicia Malone, Tiffany Smith. Maybe some of those folks would be fun to bring on the channel to get some outside voices who are not as involved. But yeah, this week, hopefully it'll be like I mentioned, maybe Christina. I'd considered Brett Sheridan was somebody I was going to maybe reach out to, honestly. I've never reached out to Brett, but I feel like I really like Brett. I think he's a really interesting guy. He's got I think a very funny background. Joshua Padua wants Bibiani on here. That'll definitely happen. No, I actually probably will eventually ask Bibiani to come on here. That would be pretty funny. I feel like we'd start yelling at each other on the show. Would that happen? I don't know. I'm not sure. Lon Harris, yeah, a lot of good Schmodown folks. And then I guess there's also the possibility of going back to the well. We're 25 episodes deep now, so they'd be we can start repeating guests at a certain point, like a lot of podcasts do. Joshua Padua says the kid Brendan Meyer would be cool to learn about his acting career. Josh, we brought Brendan on the Action Guys like a month ago and did that episode and talked about a lot of that stuff, and that was actually really cool. He talked about his career a lot, so that was really interesting. But I think Clark too. The Clark one was great. That was one of my favorite episodes. I was surprised not because Clark's not awesome, but because I just had never really had that level of like ease or friendliness with Clark. Just talking, it was just it was easy. PC says you would fit in so well with the Den. Look, I don't know. I don't know if Kate would be interested in having me on the Den. I know she and I are friends. I know we're friendly. But she's got a Ben already. She's got really strong players already. So, Josh says his Action Guys episode was one of my favorites in recent memory. I would love to hear more from him. Yeah, it is interesting, right? Like some of those Action Guys guests, it's weird because that show is not technically an interview show, but it does function a little bit like an interview show. And then this show or a great conversation is purely an interview show. So I feel like having a guest on both platforms close to each other feels a little redundant, which is why I like to space it out. But I guess it's not the same thing because a one-on-one interview is so different than a two-on-one conversation. Maybe I will start to reach out to some of those folks so we can do some of the same guests. It'd be fun to have Cushing on here. It'd be fun to have Levine on here. A lot of those people. So. What else is going on? As far as loved learning about your streaming outfit from the Clark interviews, Charlotte. Yeah, well, I've got shoes on now. No Ugg boots. Those ones ripped up. I got myself some new Ugg slippers I wear a lot. Other stuff going on. We mentioned the goal setting. We mentioned, guests this week on A Great Conversation. I will have an episode this week. I just have to confirm the guest, but it'll be 12 o'clock on Friday. I may have a song from the scene returning this week. If not this week, next week for sure. I'm definitely committing to that. That's something that I'm really, really excited about. Patricia Carrasco, I'm really late and just started the video, but context says you're suggesting guests for a great conversation. That is, we are having a conversation about guests for a great conversation. Hey, what's up, Jack? Just says he's dropped in to say hello. Hope you're well. Good to see you, man. Glad to see you stopped in. So yeah, music that's coming up here. I'll be posting a studio diary this weekend. The next 2 weeks for Nerds and Suits and action content is fucking loaded. It's crazy. So much content. Drew and I have back-to-back weeks of action rewinds. We've got film food coming up on Saturday. We've got the first hour-long General's Bunker coming up on Saturday. I'm doing a makeup tutorial next Saturday as my punishment for the general debate with AJ Lancaster. I'll be posting about that. I've got a studio diary coming up this Saturday. We've got Action Guys both weeks, Unfiltered both weeks. Hopefully coming out with the first episode of the comic book show with Coy. So, just a tremendous amount of content coming out soon between the two different channels. And probably I'll be launching the Patreon Schmodown tier for October because I will have at that point made my decision of what I'm going to be doing. And I'll let you guys in on a secret. Right now, with what I am working on, that I am preparing, that I'm excited about, I believe I'm going to come back for Schmodown next year twice as focused, with, I think, a revolutionary strategy. I think I'm doing something that's going to completely change the game. I haven't totally decided if I'm going to do it yet. It's an undertaking, but I'm fascinated by this concept, and I think I may be doing it. And if I do, it's the kind of thing that we collectively would get to do together on that Patreon tier. I'd have to decide which tier it fits into, make sure that there is something exciting for every Schmodown tier on this Patreon, because, I want to make sure you guys are getting something great for your patronage. But that's coming soon. That Jack Shilpe, I'm going to compete completely naked. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's going to get the job done necessarily, but hey, man, haven't decided yet, so I'm not going to rule anything out. Otherwise, the last thing to talk about is Tenet. I mentioned to you guys that I went to see Tenet last night. I saw it in a movie theater. I went and I drove out to Irvine. I saw it in an IMAX theater with a green N95 mask strapped to my face, the green crossbar draped across my nose, obscuring my breathing. This thing, watching a movie with a fucking N95 on sucks. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. It is not great. It's not enjoyable. It just isn't a very enjoyable experience. But the movie was enjoyable. Here's the thing, though, and I'm not going to spoil anything. This is a non-spoiler review of Tenet. Did you go to the Spectrum? Asks Moramoth Hunts. The Spectrum, the Irvine Spectrum. That's exactly where I went. Yeah, it's almost an hour from where I live, so definitely. Hey, Nikki Therese with the $5 Streamlabs. Thank you so much, Nikki. A big time salute to you. A big time tie straighten. Wow, really generous night tonight on donations for the Hummingbird, guys. We are chipping away at this thing. We're gonna get there very soon. That's really cool of you guys. But so I go and I see Tenet, and it makes it hard to eat popcorn. That is very true. So, I wanted to make sure that I had the correct mask. Right, I wanted to make sure that the mask was the right one, that it was going to definitely, actually. Hey, look at that! Is that right now? That just happened? Did I miss that Alex Quartermass just became a certified gold patron in the Nerd Network? Because I feel like that happened, and I want to make sure that I'm shouting that out. Yes, that is exactly what happened. Welcome, Alex Quartermass. Big time salute to you and a big time tie straighten here. Certified nerd of the Nerd Network. I really appreciate that, Alex. Excited to have you on board. Rockin' Movies with Tyler. First album review in months coming soon. In honor of upcoming album Ohms, I'll be reviewing Deftones' White Pony for 20th and Diamond Eyes for 10th. And hopefully Ohms will be great as well. Awesome, man. Do you do that? Tyler, do you do that on your channel? Do you have a YouTube channel you do it on? Is that the Rockin' Movies with Tyler? Is that where we would find these reviews? PC or Irvine is far. Yeah, tell me about it. I literally drove 55 minutes last night for a 10 p.m. screening. 2.5 hour movie, previews, drove back. Didn't get to sleep till almost 3 last night. So what I did was I drove out there. I put on my N95. I went in. I got popcorn. I got a Diet Coke. I went in. I sat down. I had a seat in the middle. It was a huge, high ceiling, big ass IMAX theater. Couldn't have been more than, I don't know. There couldn't have been more than like 12 to 15 people in the theater total. And here's what I'll say about Tenet. This is my non-spoiler review. It's all you, Ben. So happy to join the nerds. I look pretty good in a suit too. Haha, says Alex. Excellent. Thank you so much. So Christopher Nolan has a couple hallmarks of his movies that are just consistent, right? Things that he does in all of his movies. Hey, what's up, Quiz Show? How you doing, man? One of the things he does with almost all his movies is he focuses on time, the passing of time, the sequencing of time, forward, backward, like multiple timelines. This is in almost every movie he's ever made. He loves doing that. So this movie is definitely that. You can sort of tell from watching the trailer that there's people that are moving forward. There's also people that are moving backward. That's just pretty much like what you'd expect. Forward, backward, time stream, all that kind of stuff. So there is that element. There is a lot of dudes in suits. There's a lot of like elegantly crafted scenery, beautiful boats and incredible cars and beautiful buildings and huge, like his set dressings are unbelievable. He's almost like second to none when it comes to that stuff. I would say Nolan is almost like in a class of his own at this point with the way that his films look. They really do have this epic scale. He just selects and shoots these locations to have this really exciting, adventure-driven, huge. They feel huge in scope. I know he spends a lot of money on that stuff. So that is all true with this film. Now, as far as the actual premise of the movie, the plot, and like understanding it once it's over, I didn't anticipate that after a weekend of camping, hiking on a bachelor party weekend, a 10 p.m. screening of a 2.5 hour film, it was more difficult to stay locked in than I wanted it to be. So somewhere in like hour and a half range, I definitely started to like doze a little bit. And I think I was kind of in and out for about 10 minutes. Not asleep, but just that thing where you're like, you finally sort of open your eyes and you're like, how much of the last 10 minutes did I actually ingest? And how much of that was like my eyes were closed for 8 seconds at a time kind of a thing? I'm not totally sure. So I was like, okay, I hopefully didn't miss like a significant portion of the movie. But the movie ended and I was just like, I don't really know like exactly what happened. So then this morning I was like, all right, I'll look up an explainer video. So I went and watched the new Rockstars, the Eric Voss one. And he explains it intimately, like very carefully. And I was still confused after he explained it. And I don't find Inception confusing. Like Inception's pretty easy to follow. I don't find, I would say, any of his concepts to be particularly confusing. I think Dunkirk has like on first glance, I don't think Dunkirk was like easy to understand. I think you had to like think a little bit about the different timelines to gather where all the characters were at each time. But again, it kind of makes sense. I don't think it's like crazy. This one was definitely hard to follow. This was the hardest to follow Nolan movie for me by far. And I do feel like I need to watch it again to fully grasp what's happening, because some of the stuff that he said in the explainer video, I was like, really? That happened in the movie, huh? But as I said earlier, I am looking forward to watching it again. I just don't think that that's the best testament to a film's quality, that you need to watch it more than once to enjoy it properly. I struggle with that notion pretty drastically, because I just think there's too many movies to watch. I want to watch too many movies to make that kind of time to watch a film more than once. Eric Lane, Nolan tries to be the smartest guy in the room. He does. He writes really clever scripts. And there's definitely stuff in this movie that it feels really clever. So it's a really interesting movie. If you have a chance to see it in a theater, how was the sound mix? Asked Alterman. Heard it seems like it would be good to watch with subtitles. I think the sound mix was pretty strong. I didn't find like it to be hard to follow. Yeah, I think the audio was strong. Villeneuve is greater than Nolan, says Eric Lane. Yeah, they definitely feel like they share some of the same space. But yeah, a really interesting movie. I mean, it was really, I have to tell you guys, for the first 20 minutes of the movie, I was just grinning like an idiot. Like, I was so happy to be in a movie theater. So happy, beyond happy. Like, I can't even really explain to you guys how much it meant to me to be able to watch a movie in a theater. I just got another new patron, Marc-Andre Montreal, just became a certified gold patron in the Nerd Network, I believe. I just want to make sure I didn't get the notification on the Action account here, because it is easy for me to get confused. But I don't think so. I think this is another Nerds and Suits patron. Maybe? No, maybe that's not. Maybe that was Action. That's so funny, because I get the notifications on my phone. No, it was. Yes, Marc-Andre Montreal just became a new patron of Nerds and Suits. So big time straighten of the tie there to you. I really appreciate that support. All you guys who want to support what I'm doing here, it's awesome. Josh Ryan Sports, the Canadian Beauty. I only had issues with audio in the opening sequence. My family had trouble throughout the movie though. Yeah, the audio in the opening sequence was a little bit. Mark is fine. Thank you so much, Mark. I really appreciate it. Yeah, the audio in the beginning was a little disorienting. But yeah, the first 20 minutes of the movie, guys, just grinning like an idiot. I was so happy to be in a theater watching a movie. Maybe that was one of the reasons I woke up today feeling so much better, was just I think I got to experience something that felt like my life a year ago. It felt like my life 9 months ago. And I think just there's some aspect of that just felt like encouraging. To be able to go to a theater and watch a movie I was excited to watch. I was used to going to the theater 3 to 4 times a week, every week. Being able to talk to you guys about new films, being excited about that. I found myself in the theater thinking about how much of the Schmodown feels like connecting to something that isn't real anymore, because I don't see movies anymore. And there's like this aspect to checking the boxes when new ones come out, knowing that I've seen all the new stuff, that it just made me really happy. So, if you guys love it, if you guys love movies, if you guys love Nolan, I definitely recommend, if you get a chance, to see it in a safe environment. I actually feel like the movie theater experience is safer than I really thought it was. Though if you have somebody with a compromised immune system in your life, or you have somebody that you're concerned about, and you are going to be in constant contact with them, I might still hold off if I were you. I don't have to see anyone. I don't have to be in the same room as anyone. I spend most of my time alone, and I live alone. My parents don't live here. I don't have any grandparents. So it's easy for me to say that. If I have an N95 that's going to protect me and anyone around me, I can do it. But I still don't recommend just like going in public places because you miss normalcy. I don't think that's the best idea, and I don't want to be somebody who's out here telling you to do that. So, would you drive to Las Vegas to see Tenet? Honestly, at a certain point, I may have. Once I found out it was only an hour away, I could see it in IMAX in Irvine. I was totally willing to do it. Nikki Therese, definitely nice feeling things are semi-normal again. My Wawa trek was the second time I've eaten out since March. I'm still nervous about theaters, though. Yeah, totally. Makes total sense. This was a huge theater. It was an IMAX room, so I probably in a regular size theater, it was a little more full, would have probably been a little more nervous. Lauren here, up my Patreon level, looking forward to all the upcoming fun. Lauren, thank you so much. A big time salute to you, a big time tie straighten to you. that is really, really awesome of you to do that and support what I'm doing on Nerds and Suits. I'm hoping to continue to bring you guys more exciting stuff, especially for October. I really feel like I'm going to try to weather the storm. Yes, Lauren, thank you so much. You've upgraded to a diamond patron in the Nerd Network. That's an incredibly generous level to have joined at, and I'm really, really excited to have you there. I hope you join on Saturday. We'll be doing the next studio diary. I can show you guys the behind the scenes of what's happening with my next music. I may even try writing a song on stream this next time. I was thinking about that, taking a concept and literally trying to write it here with you guys in front of you. Which I haven't done that yet, and I was considering trying. So that might be the one that I try to do on this next stream, maybe do a slightly extended one so that I can actually try to write it live. But Lauren, thank you so much for that sign up, and thank you so much for the upgrade. So guys, I have to do this Magic stream starting at 7:30. It is at 7:30 on the youtube.com/the MMCast network. It's my Magic the Gathering channel that I do with Alex Kessler. We're going to be playing a game of Commander with some good friends of mine. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. So if you guys like Magic, if you just want to hear us dick around, come hang out, show up, join the party, get hyped. I appreciate every single person tonight who watched the show, everybody who donated. What an incredible group of donations. We got almost $300 towards the Gibson Hummingbird tonight. New subscribers, the whole deal. Really, really, really hyped about that. We are going to get the guitar, guys. You guys are doing the heavy lifting on this, and the Gibson Hummingbird is going to be mine sooner than later. I'll be able to play it here on stream with the hummingbirds, and hopefully I'll have badass new music I can play with that guitar. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting, and I will see you all very, very soon. Look forward to 2 weeks of incredible content. And for anybody who is not already I just lost my train of thought. Anybody who is excited about content these next 2 weeks on Action, Nerds and Suits, join the Patreons today and get excited. If you want to do goal setting, send in your goals to me. Let me know what you're thinking about doing. As I said, mine is 30 days of no delivery. I'm going back to it starting today. No more delivery. We're sticking with that. So let's all kick 2021's ass together, and let's get ready and plant our feet and hit the fucking ground running. All right, guys, a big time salute to all my Action folks, a big time Ty Straighten, to all my Nerds and Suits folks. Thank you for watching, and look out for another episode of Great Conversation this Friday. All right, guys, have a good one.